Hi everyone, I'm really excited today to be introducing the wonderful Janice Gilligan-White, whose articles you may have read on my blog. She's published 5 now. She's a survivor of workplace mobbing, and Janice and I have been working together for several months, and I'm really excited today because one of the world's leading researchers into workplace bullying, somebody called David Yamada, who's based in the US, who's very widely published in this area, has just published on his blog an homage of sorts to the wonderful Janice, where he talks about how incredibly well she survived her ordeal in an article that he talks about post-traumatic growth. So first up, let me introduce to you Janice. How do you feel about this amazing opportunity that David's published your blogs?
Hard actually to put into words that someone, he was a huge part of my healing process, his work, the reading that I've done in articles and books that he's written. So for him to be acknowledging the work or referencing it is just an amazing thing, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I mean, you have such a unique voice, Janice, and for somebody who has been through such an incredible ordeal of workplace bullying in the aviation industry. I mean, you were there for many years and you absolutely loved your job and you were set to be what you called a lifer. And then that's where everything sort of flipped around. And I think
right.
You have a really unique perspective. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
I had a wonderful 10 years. And then like many other people that experience workplace bullying, I had a change of leadership. I would explain him kind of as a toxic leader, but at that point, 10 years in, I was very confident in the work that I had done, the reputation that I had built, the relationships that I had. I felt like I was able to manage it. And then we got another change of management on a little bit of a higher level. And that's really when the full-blown aggression started. I had stopped sleeping and I wasn't eating. I was in this fight or flight mode. Went out to dinner with a girlfriend and I was losing my memory. So I couldn't remember her daughter's name. There was a couple of things throughout the evening and she encouraged me to go and see a doctor. And at that point I was, up until that point, I didn't really realize what was happening with my health. I was just so focused on fixing whatever I needed to fix in this situation and how is this happening, and we need to resolve it. So then it just became apparent that the aggression was getting worse and worse. There was some projects that were getting destroyed. They had failed me after years of wonderful performance reviews. They had failed me on one, and I had just realized that it was something that I couldn't return to. My health was suffering so badly.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, I hear so many stories of workplace bullying and workplace mobbing, but every time I hear someone's story, I'm just incredulous because I think, how could they not see? And because it happens to the best employees. And I know that for a fact that you were an amazing employee, because since you've left, Janice, and you've been publishing your articles on your Facebook page, you have had so many responses, so many shares. I mean, people love you. Even old clients of yours who you've helped on flights. There was that woman who had an autistic son who
Right.
You helped incredibly. And I mean, it's always difficult to fly with a child in the best of times, but when you've got that extra challenge, and you were so kind to her and she came back and she remembered you, and the love that you generate from your clients is so apparent in the feedback that you get for your work. And to think that this airline could be so short-sighted, because it wouldn't take that much research to figure out who you actually worked for, right? But the amount of negative publicity that they can generate by treating one of their best employees in the way that they've treated you, I just think, man, how short-sighted is that? It's just, I still don't get it. And I think that when you've been through this experience, you feel the same, right? You just don't get it. Like, how could they do this to their people?
It had to start taking the personal out of it. For so long, it was so personal, right? But once I started doing the research and learning other people's stories, and we had talked about how it almost seems like they pull a handbook off the shelf on, how are we, once we decided we're going to mark this person for elimination, how do we actually do it, right? Because it seemed so specific, like exactly what was happening to me had happened to others in exactly the same way. So just very interesting, and the chance of recovering back from that once the aggression has taken hold, and understanding why too, right? How people, they act differently in groups than they do individually. So there was so much about it that I was able to learn, taking it away from making it so personal and more into, listen, this is how workplace aggression works. This is why it works. This is how they do it. And being able to take it from that approach instead of staying so personal. Because when I do take it to the personal level, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, like so many others, I had relationships with these people. They were my family. I had known upper leadership. They knew who I was. I had won awards and support, so mind-boggling Twilight Zone experience.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, well, there are a few things that really impress me about your journey, Janice. And one is you've had this incredible ability to educate yourself to the max about this whole workplace mobbing, workplace bullying situation. You've read books, you've spoken to people, you're going to be doing courses, you're going to attend Gary Namie's course soon, actually, right, in September.
Yeah, next week. Yes.
Oh, how exciting!
Yeah, very exciting.
And I can't wait to hear all about that. But so not only have you gone to the trouble of educating yourself, but one of the things I really love about what you've done is that you have, perhaps more than anybody else I know who's been bullied at work, an incredible ability to let go, to walk away from this work stress. And most people get so attached to their jobs, they think, I can't survive, I have to keep going, how am I going to earn an income? And they should pay for what they've done to me, and I'm going to make them pay, and they take them to court, and then what happens often after the bullying is even more traumatizing, if that is possible to even imagine. But what you have done, which is incredibly powerful, which I do suggest to the people that I work with, is you told your story. And I know how difficult it was for you to tell your story, because, the whole writing process in and of itself can be, sometimes it flows, sometimes it's a real struggle. Tell us about your writing process, Janice, and what that's been like for you.
When I found you, it was very difficult when we had that first discussion of tell me, what are you good at? What are some other passions? There wasn't anything that I could possibly come up with except for this ridiculous thought, right? That in college, I had been a good writer and I had always enjoyed it. And it was something that I was good at, even on the job. And yes, I've thought people that write blogs, I like the idea of that. So if I had to pick anything in this crazy world that I can maybe do, it's that. So that's where we started. So, which is, with trying to write my first blog, right? Which is also the healing process of what my story was.
It was amazing, wasn't it? How your first blog that flowed so easily, it went viral. Oh my God. I have a website called freespiritedme.com where I publish all of my blogs, including on workplace bullying and how to be successful online in your online business. And so there's some stuff in there about spiritual development as well. But, usually when I publish something, it gets a few shares, but your shares were like crazy. You got 15 to 20 times more shares than anything that I'd written. And I was just when I saw the spike on the analytics, that it was my chugging along, and then your article came along, there was this huge spike, which was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. They related to you, Janice.
Right. Remember with the first post, right? Just to reach one, like that was, I didn't even care as long as I just reached one. So
yeah, that's just amazing. And then there were other blog articles where, like you said, you struggled and it was difficult for you, it was challenging, and it was kind of all over the place. And
Right.
so it's kind of like in the writing journey, you can have one thing that just comes out. It's almost like it's divinely channeled through. And then other times you just wrestle with it, wrestle with it, wrestle with it. And we said, you know, like after your first blog, it went so well. I said, well, you know, Janice, the second one might not go so well.
Right. You had warned me, that's for sure. Yes. Yes.
And you know, like there were some that just took you weeks and weeks, and we draft after draft after draft, and then they ended up completely different to where they first started. You know, like
That too, right.
what was that process like for you, Janice, to just kind of go through and just keep persevering with your writing in that way?
Well, first of all, when we had found that this was maybe something that I could be passionate about, I mean, it just certainly was. So it didn't matter the amount of drafts. It didn't, I loved the process. I had explained to you once that writing for me, it felt like it was minutes and it had been hours. You were such a safe place as well to do that with, right? So after you've experienced workplace bullying, you know, you had trust issues.
Right.
I remember one time even sending you an email, and I wanted to put my feelings out there because I was fully into this process. That, you know, I was feeling afraid, I was feeling vulnerable, and just the way that you were able to come back and ensure me that I was in a safe place. But it was a practice for me to trust somebody again.
Yeah.
So I mean, all of it was just, the whole thing was a beautiful experience for me.
That is certainly one of the biggest things that gets ruptured when people have this traumatic experience of workplace bullying or workplace mobbing, is your trust in
Right.
yourself, your trust in others, your trust in life. It's one of the
Right.
first casualties, you know, where you really just stop trusting. What would you say to anybody out there who might be watching, what the process was like for you working with me in this, you know, this online space?
So I have a couple things that's for sure that's unique about your program.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is that it's not just that you're a coach with expertise. To work with someone that can also capture everything else that's going on with you, right? So even if I never had workplace bullying, but I'm just looking to start a new business, there's so much personally that's going on from one week to the next, and different emotions that you might feel. Your ability to tune into that and to be able to take care of it, but quickly, to be able to get back and focus on what the goal is. It was never a pity party that you didn't let me have, but also that you allowed me to stay in. So that was a powerful thing for me. The other thing that I found interesting is, if I was an employee at heart. My husband is an entrepreneur. I know people that own businesses. I've said it my entire life. My heart is the heart of an employee. Just imagine someone whose goal is to be an entrepreneur and to find somebody that can help them get there. And I'm just so grateful. It was all because of your program and the way that you run it, the quality, the amount of time you put in, extra time. There's not an email that doesn't get responded right away. There's not quality answers after we have our weekly meetings. The notes that you send that, again, not only take care of the business but take care of the person. Those are things that you just don't get. I don't know. I can't imagine getting that elsewhere, at least very often. So,
Wow.
Question.
Thank you so much, Janice. People watching this will see me blush a few
I hope so. You should, because it's incredible. And I'm just so grateful.
And you know, you've been fantastic to work with as well, and the quality of your writing absolutely speaks for itself. And the fact that you're getting these amazing opportunities open up for you, these amazing results, you're getting attention from the leaders in the field of workplace bullying. So it's just like, just through your blog, you've gone from this horrendous experience as an employee to, within a few short months, being, I mean, celebrated in a sense as one of the leading voices in the workplace bullying field. So I am so proud and so honored to be with you on that journey, Janice. It's just so delightful and incredible. So thank you for the opportunity of working with you, and thank you for those lovely things that you've said